Yo guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be another weekly update kind of video where we're just going over the CS regionals that are happening in Japan. Last weekend was HYOGO, so we're going to go over the top 16, talk about who won, talk about that a little bit, and talk about some new spicy reveals that happened. They've been showing off the new OP09 leaders recently, so we got two more ones to talk about, and who could it be? I don't know if you can tell by what's going on in the background. So let's just get started and let's jump right in. Alright, so we had a decent tournament last weekend. It was actually a good one. We've had some maybe not the best regionals that have been happening the past couple weeks in Japan. And this one, last week, we had Lucci win, and with some good games, pretty good overall, kind of redeeming it a little bit. And this week, I think, was even better. I think we just saw a little bit higher quality matches on stream, less of people just like bricking and losing because of how terrible their drawing is and stuff. But let's go over the top 16. This happened June 30th in HYOGO in Japan. There was I mean, this is no surprise. We see the top 16 and it's like, okay, how many red purple laws, how many Luccis, and what's like the third kind of like, is it a black whale Luffy, is it a Nell, is it Kalgara, is it a Giga Chad blue player? But we had 10 laws, 3 Lucci, and 3 Enel. So this was different. We've had, I think there was one Enel before, either last week or 2 weeks ago. So we haven't had a lot of Enels getting into the top 16, but he was there, and he stuck around. So let's look at the top 8. So after the first round, we see the top 8, and they show us 3-3-2, 3 laws, 3 Luccis, and 2 Enel, which I don't think anyone was expecting. So they went from 10 to 3. So there must have been, obviously there's a few mirror matches happening there, but that also means that the Luccis and the Enels were winning, obviously, right? Only one Enel lost. All 3 Luccis won their top 8 game, which is pretty crazy. Then we go into the top 4, and there was 1 red purple law, 1 Lucci, and 2 Enels, which is even more slightly even more shocking for everyone. And the top 4 match here, it was Enel versus red purple law. And it was a really good match. That Enel player was really good. I wanted him to win. But just really nice playing from both players. The Enel player was also taking in the Hino, the Thunderbird event, the 2-cost event that KOs a character that's like equal to or less than your opponent's life, which is really strong in Enel, especially if you do the starve game. Because a lot of people have been switching and they've been doing just like, okay, I'm going to start attacking more quickly. OP07, Enel liked to starve law, and then OP08 came and people kind of changed a little bit and they kind of felt like they couldn't starve anymore, so they had to just start attacking after the first like turn or two. But I think this way you can starve a little bit more, and that event is really cool. I even think that event works in OP07, and I've been testing it in some OP07 builds, so just a cool little thing to note there. Unfortunately, the Enel player just like drew into a bunch of non-counters at the end. Good game though, good game. And then the finals was red purple law versus Lucci, and like last week, it was pretty interesting. This game was really decent. I think we saw the first match, I believe, was Lucci as well, and we had some Giga Chad Lucci players who were like, I think it was the first one. They beat Law without stage, which is crazy. I don't think they had stage the entire game, which is insane. Like, if you don't draw stage, if you don't get stage on the field by the first couple of turns as Lucci going against Law, you can almost just chalk it up to a loss unless the Law player is or starts bricking like harder than you're bricking, or like not drawing. Like if they start drawing worse than you, then you have a shot. But he, played around it really well, did a really good job. The finals was, just a good match. It was really interesting. Pretty good play from all the players. And this week, Lucci won again. So that's 2 weeks in a row. Last week, I would say it was much more of like a crazy chain of events that happened to make it possible for Lucci to win. Like, he top decked Moria and then played Spandam to top deck the Tempest kick, or the 0-cost event that he needed to then defend himself. And the Law player misplayed when going for lethal. This week it was not so cut and dry of like, oh, it's just you got lucky so you won. This week was just more normal. It was a lot. It's weird because you see these CS finals and you think about it in like a different league of its own or something, but you see this match like every day at locals, like 100 times, right? You see this at a flagship every single time. These are the matches, these are the matchups that are happening over and over and over and over again throughout the meta. And this was probably, to me, like the fairest representation that we've seen, maybe, where it's like if both players are kind of like drawing well enough, it's all up to their skill, you know, like that's the match we all want to see. And this week we got to see that quite a few times, which I was really happy about. But yeah, so Lucci won. Does this mean Lucci is better than Law? No, no, it does not. I think the June flagship result, I wish I had this off the top here, but Law won some crazy amount of flagships in June. It was like 253 or some insane amount of flagships. And Law is definitely still best deck in format, but it's cool to see Lucci winning. It's crazy to see people pulling it off, but as Lucci, you're already kind of like the second best deck in the format, so you have a favorite matchup into a lot of things. So basically all you have to do is tech your deck towards Law, and then, you know, as long as Law doesn't high roll, you can beat him, and if you see stage, you know. But really cool. I'm excited to see next week. I believe next week is the second round for Tokyo, because they're coming back, so gonna be interesting. Real quick here, let's just go through this. Like, I like to show kind of the top 16s as they're happening. Just for reference, this was the World Finals where right before Sakazuki got banned, where he had 11. This was Aichi in June 9th, 11-2-2-1. It was the exact same. Dude, when this was spooky when this happened, I'm not gonna lie. It's not as scary anymore because we know that at least Law didn't win every single CS. Here is Tokyo, 10-2-2-1-1. Fukuoka, that happened the week prior, and then here was this past weekend. So that's that. Those are the tournaments. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot. On August 12th, at the finals of the first wave of the CSs, there's going to be a ban restriction announcement. At the very end of this CS, they announced that there's going to be new bans, new restrictions put in place, and I think we all know what's coming. We just don't know exactly how it's coming. If I had to just give you my personal opinion right now, it's either, there's like three things that I think can happen. One, they just ban Law leader, and then restrict and ban some black cards, or they just restrict the crap out of like all of Law's good cards and then restrict some of the black cards as well, or they go ham and it's like ban Law leader, ban NES lobby, and restrict Moria to 1, something crazy like that. Seeing how Bandai has handled things in the past, I think what we're gonna see here is probably the first or second one, where it's just like a quick ban on Law and maybe a restriction of like NES lobby, or I don't really see an errata or anything. Let me know what you guys think is gonna happen. Maybe even the third one, just like the bring out the ban hammer and go crazy. But I don't know, we'll see what happens. It is a little unfortunate because that means that for the rest of OP08 we have to deal with this exact meta. I know it's not easy to just like rush out the bans and stuff. I think they could have done it a little bit sooner, but I do understand them wanting to wait until because it's the finals of the preliminaries that are happening right now, right? So I kind of understand, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm really excited. The starter decks are coming out soon, and those have some new cards that are gonna mix up things a little bit. I think it'll shake things up just a tiny bit, so I'm excited about that. Those are coming out in like 2 weeks, so by the time the Miyagi CS happens, they will be able to use the new cards from the starter decks, so I'm excited to see what happens there. Maybe the one before that, but I'm not quite sure. And we got some new leaders, baby. So if you couldn't tell by the first slide, one of the leaders announced was Nico Robin. So she's here, she's finally here. Let's take a quick look. She's purple yellow, 4 life, 5,000 power, strike attribute, and only Straw Hat Pirates. Unfortunately, not former Baroque works or anything like that, like a lot of us were kind of hoping. And her effect reads: banish. When attacking, you may trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck, and set it as rested. So, as a Yamato stan, when I saw this, I was really happy because leaders that have like the keywords on them are really strong no matter what, which is cool. I do think the effect is like I don't want to say mid. It's just not like anything crazy. But here's the thing is like I don't think you can put a crazy effect onto a leader that already has banish, right? Otherwise it would be kind of treading some treacherous waters. But this is super cool. Obviously I love yellow and green are my favorite, and I love like Yamato's my favorite leader, and I like Yamato because I can play both colors with it, right? I don't have to just do like a full triggered out yellow deck or whatever like an Nell or Katakuri. And there's a lot of variety. I think there's going to be a lot of deck building space and variety that you can do with Robin, and just having that pressure from the leader with banish. At first I didn't know how I felt. I didn't know how strong I thought it would be. And after seeing some just like early playtesting and just thinking about it more, I really like Robin. I really like Robin, and so far out of all the OP09 leaders, she is definitely my favorite. I don't know why she's banish. If you can like connect thematically why, like story wise, why she would have banish, let me know, because I've asked people and I've had a few friends tell me things that is like, yeah, I guess that's kind of right. And my own reasoning was like, she, like her attacks are kind of like, I don't know, she has like really good finisher moves, and like everything that like revolves around Robin is like things like going extinct or like banishing from the past or the history of things. So like that would be kind of like 5-head, kind of cool. I don't know, I really don't know. Part of me, so I was thinking about this today actually, part of me thinks that this might be this was gonna be like Egghead Nami leader or something like that, and they changed it or something like that. Like this was maybe a different leader leading up to this, and they just like changed it to Robin. And I think this Robin here, like that they're showing, is during Skypiea or like right before or after. I'm not really sure. So yeah, let me know if you know like why, or have a good like guess at why she's actually the one that got banished. Because yeah, Nami makes more sense to me because she's got the like lightning attacks, and she can use yeah, just stuff like that, right? So really cool. I'm super excited. We have 2 more leaders that they haven't announced, and from what we think we know of, Buggy and Shanks, right? So if Shanks is really cool, I'll definitely be trying him out, but this will definitely be a leader I'm going to try no matter what. And the second one was Luffy. Good old Gear 5 Luffy. This is kind of cool. I do like he's doing his like Mookie like get like buff pose. I think the alt art for these ones are going to be so sick. I don't even know what they are, but like I can just tell they're going to be so sick. So Monkey D Luffy, purple black, 4 life, 5000 power, strike. He has the Yonko and Straw Hat Pirates, so the 4 emperors and the Straw Hat Pirates. And his effect is Dawn 1. Your characters have +1 cost. And then during your turn, once per turn, when you 2 or more Dawn cards are returned to your Dawn deck from play, set up to 1 from your Dawn deck as active and up to 1 from your Dawn deck as rested. So when you return 2 or more, at the very same time, you get 1 back active and 1 back rested. So if you send 2 back, you get 2. If you send 2 to your deck, you get 2 back on the field. 1's rested, 1's active. If you send 4 back, you get 2, right? So this is really cool. And thematically, this effect makes so much sense to me, because if you know from like using Gear 5 or like any of the gear, like Gear 1 through 5, Luffy always runs out of steam and he has to like go eat or whatever, and then he gets recharged and he can like fight again, right? So this makes a ton of sense to me. This is like he uses too much energy and then it all goes back, and then he like, you know, he just slowly incrementally like builds himself back up and like gets power again. So this was really cool. I will tip my hat to you, Bandai. You make some really cool thematic themed effects for the characters and the leaders and everything. Not sure about Robin, but this one makes a ton of sense to me. This will be strong. This will be really strong, and I think this is a leader that might not need Moria, so any black leader that doesn't need Moria is going to be awesome. And I think the Dawn 1 giving all your characters +1 is huge, because that means if you play like Borsalino or a 4-cost blocker, like 4-cost Law or something, and you have a Dawn, they're immediately 5 cost, which means like Flame Split, Amaru, all that kind of stuff where you can rest a 4 cost or less is just out the window. And all your 5 costs become 6 costs, which means like even Makyusen or the demonic 9 aura, I forgot the English again, sorry. The 2 cost green event that comes out in OP07, you can't use that on it's because it's going to be a 6 cost, right? So just little things to think about there that you might not think about at first, where it's like a little quality of life thing where it's like, oh, actually that's super strong. And then obviously against black, for like not for them having to spend that one extra like way of cost reduction, like one extra cost that they have to deal with every time. So Lucci doesn't just get like free stage leader effect and then KO like a, you know, what is that, 3? So between like a 4 to 7 cost depending on what KO card he's playing. So really stoked for these 2 leaders. I'm excited for Robin. Think Luffy's cool. I'll be playing him on the sim and everything. I don't know. I will be building Robin out in real life for sure. Not sure about Luffy yet, but I'll be playing all of them on the sim when they come out. Let me know which one you're most excited for. Yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching. I hope that helped with keeping up with CSs and all the meta and everything that's going on over here. Super excited for Robin. Luffy's super cool. I'm excited. I think next week should be the final 2 leaders in Buggy and Shanks. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it for me. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.